Now, these are the images that are causing waves across the world. Hundreds of migrants have tried to rush into the United States from Mexico this week. And the sudden crush has prompted opponents of President Joe Biden to call for better border security. Just shocking images. This group that you're seeing here was mainly made up of Venezuelan nationals who attempted to break through Mexican security but were stopped, as you can see, by barbed wire and U.S. border agents in riot here. There were even reports of tear gas being sprayed. Now, this comes as a record total of 2.76 million migrants were stopped from entering the United States in 2022 alone. And joining us now is Marc Schulman. He's an editor-in-chief of HistoryCentral.com. So, first of all, you know, we've been hearing for months now, more than months, you could say years, that many migrants have been complaining about how difficult the asylum application process has become to get into the United States. Break that down for us.
Okay, so there's 2 points to keep in mind. America has an immigration policy. America allows in approximately 1 million immigrants a year. It's based on a quota per country around the world.
Right.
It changed in 1965 when there were very few immigrants allowed, and since 1965, large numbers of immigrants are allowed every single year, and like I said, it comes to about 1 million. Asylum is something the United States signed, and most of the world has signed basically after World War II. As a result of the Holocaust and the fact that Jews weren't allowed into any country, all the countries signed the UN agreement to provide asylum for someone who's seeking refuge because their life's endangered in some form or another. And by international law, you cannot turn down someone who's seeking asylum and is a legitimate asylum seeker. What's the problem now is that so many people have learned that the way to get into the United States without waiting in line for the million places that are available every year is to go to America and seek asylum and to claim that their life's in danger. Now, a lot of these people's lives are in danger. The situation in parts of South America are brutal. Venezuela particularly is a brutal regime, but there are other places as well. So they have legitimate reasons to want to seek asylum. And the United States has no way of turning down someone who's legitimately wants to seek asylum. The problem has become that it's impossible to process so many people who want to seek asylum and determine whether they're entitled to asylum.
Right.
And so that creates these large numbers. I'm not sure that the 2 million number that they will throw around are not, half of them are people who tried more than once. I don't think they're 2 million separate people. There are 2 million people who trained, sent back, came again, et cetera, et cetera. But this is the overall problem. As long as the United States is signed on the asylum agreement, there is no way to turn these people away before they actually request asylum. And so it's a real problem.
Right, and we're looking at a situation where you have hundreds of thousands of people who are waiting on the Mexican border for these applications to be processed. They don't know what's going to happen. Now, the migrant debate is obviously, or the immigration debate, we could say, is at the core of political divides in the United States. It has been for decades now. How much does the United States depend on migrant labor, and how is this debate impacting that, especially in the current?
Okay, so you have to look at it from 2 different levels. One is the overall growth of the United States. Now, as you just discussed China. Why is China in such a difficult position? Because its birth rate became so low, and China has no immigration at all. The United States birth rate has also been dropping steadily. It was about 3.5 per woman in 1965. It's dropped to 1.7 something at this point in the United States on average. Now, you need 2.1 births per person or per woman in order to keep the population steady. If this population goes down, you end up in the same situation of China has of an aging population. What has saved the United States always? Immigration. Immigration brings new people, it increases the size of the country, it provides new workers on a general ongoing basis, and you want for the country's economy to keep on growing, to always have more people coming in. The United States has been an immigrant culture throughout history, and it's a positive thing for the United States. What happened, however? Well, first of all, there's always been this thread in the United States against immigration. It goes back to the 1860s, the Know-Nothing Part 1870s. They didn't like the Irish, they were Catholics, and it's all the way through history, those people who don't want the other. The other is going to replace us. And what's happened in the last 10 years or so is a sense that the immigrants no longer white, no longer European, and that they're replacing that population, and that creates a backlash against those people who feel that they want the America that they knew. And so a lot of it's cultural.
The bottom line is, you know, how, at this point, how many of these migrants does the United States need to be able to continue a strong and stable economy.
Look, it probably could go from 1 million to 2 million immigrants a year. What America doesn't need is uncontrolled immigration. In other words, the problem is you have to know who's crossing your border. You have to know who's coming to the United States. And I mean, my view, the simple solution to all this problem is to drastically increase legal immigration, including particularly to South America, where these people are coming from. Give them immigration visas in a much quicker way. Then you know who's coming. And you can do it in a orderly process, and the economy will be helped by that. No one at this point is complaining that, oh, the immigrants are pushing down the job market. America needs more workers. That's a given, especially in the post-COVID world.